Evening and welcome to Astrology for Business. I'm Josephine Corcoran, and this is my weekly podcast or forecast bringing to you information about what's happening with the I'm not sure whether that's already started. Good evening and welcome. I'm Josephine Corcoran. Thank you for joining me. This is my weekly forecast for the energy of what's happening astrologically for business. So it's astrology for business, and what I do is I look at what's happening with the planets and the energy of the sun and the moon and how they're connecting up in the heavens. And then I bring that down to what's available for us to work with from a professional perspective. What can we do in our working week? How can we use this energy and these forces to support the kinds of activities that we choose, that we need to be doing during the week? And a little bit of what's really inspired me to work with astrology from a coaching perspective is a really deep appreciation for the cycles of nature, and how when we actually honor the cycles that take place, both the lunar cycle, but then the cycles of the planets and the sun, and when we can understand the archetypal forces that they bring through, then we can harness those and use those to our advantage in business. So thank you for joining me. It's a beautiful Sunday evening up here in Avalon. I've had a few hours at the beach with my youngest son today, so I'm feeling really grounded and really summery, and I just delight in this summery energy. So what have we got ahead for the week of the 18th of January? Well, first and foremost, wanted to say a big happy birthday to those of you who are Aquarian sun signs, because this week the sun moves into your sign, and it will be in Aquarius for the next sort of 28 days or thereabouts. So what does Aquarius mean? What does Aquarius stand for? And it's worthwhile considering that tonight, because Aquarius is definitely the key signature for this year and the key themes. So whenever I think about the energy of Aquarius, I think about unique, being an individual, seeking freedom, being interested in humanitarian issues, being interested in the big picture issues of what's happening from a planetary perspective, and looking after the earth and looking after the people living on the earth. And it's also very much, it's a fixed air sign. So whenever something is fixed, it's able to come up with something and see it through. And so once Aquarius, which is also being an air sign, is very focused on the intellect and the mind and communication and innovation. They're the sorts of themes that we've got going on for the next couple of years anyway. But over the next month in particular, key themes around innovation and using technology and really looking at how can we collaborate with others to focus on issues that are going to support the collective, and also focus on what makes you unique and how can you celebrate that aspect of yourself, and how can you really find a way to work and honor that part of you. So that's a strong theme for the next month. It's also a strong theme for the next couple of years while we've got Jupiter and Saturn traveling through the sign. But most importantly, this week there is a lot happening with we're going to be having four key planets in Aquarius. So I do want to say that probably the biggest day, and for those of you who haven't got time to listen to this whole broadcast, if you hit the sign me up button, it'll get you to sign up to my mailing list, and I've got a PDF of the key information of what's happening on what days for the week ahead. So you may like to check to sign up and use that information to help you with your week's planning. All right, so on the week's got a lot happening, and there's the US inauguration happening in America on the 20th of this the 20th of January, but it'll actually be around the 21st here in Australia when that inauguration takes place. And it's a very strong, energetic day. And I really urge you on Thursday, the 21st, to just be very mindful of your actions, because it's quite possible with the Mars meeting up with Uranus. It's a very intense energy. It can be quite hostile. It can be an energy where you take an action and you haven't had time to even think about it, and before you know it, the action's taken place, and there may be some regret. So I really urge you on Thursday in particular, in the workplace, to just take your conscious self to work and make sure you're in the present moment. Make sure you're not reacting to those around you. And it's not a day necessarily for making abrupt, quick decisions. Maybe think through things a little before you take that actual action. But it's a very, very powerful energy at the same time, and great for working with your intuition. Okay, so we've got the sun having moved into Aquarius, and we've got that theme for the next month ahead. We've got Mercury in Aquarius, so our mind and our thoughts and our communication is very much about innovation and the greater collective. We've also this week got Mars in Taurus, where this week it's meeting up with Uranus, which is also in Taurus. So in layman's terms, Mars in Taurus brings through an opportunity for us to focus on goals and activities that require persistence and effort. However, when Mars meets up with Uranus, Uranus is quite explosive. There could well be some quite explosive energy that happens. So it will be interesting to see if there's any key events that happen at the inauguration over. Let's hope there's nothing too untoward, but it will just be interesting to see what sorts of events are going to take place over, particularly in America. Also this week, we've got Venus in Capricorn still, where she's really focused on building relationships that are solid business relationships, taking practical steps to look at how you can partner with others and work with others to achieve the goals that you both want to be achieving. Strong connection there with money and relationships and mutual value. So that's on the table for us to work with still. Okay, so what I did want to also remind you about is that on the 24th of January, which is Sunday next weekend, I'm doing a webinar called 2021, My Breakthrough Year. And in the webinar, I'm going to be breaking down the energy for the year ahead, providing you with a calendar or a map of the key energetic themes so that you can actually map out your year ahead and be aware of the key intense periods, and also be aware of the periods that are a little bit more supportive and nurturing and nourishing to support you to get things done. And plus, for those that are signing up, I'm going to be doing your chart, and I'll be just making a key note of which aspect of your life is going to be up for the most opportunity for restructure and breakthrough in 2021. So I'd love for you to join me. There's still spots, and I'm really excited about that webinar coming up. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the moon and what the moon's doing this week. It's the waxing moon, so a waxing moon always brings opportunity for getting into action mode and moving towards achieving the goals that we set last week under the Capricorn New Moon. So on Monday, tomorrow, firstly, I'll just talk about the fact that the void of course time frames. On Monday the 18th, the moon is void of course from 2:44 p.m. to 6:07 p.m. On Tuesday, it's not void of course, so all systems go. On Wednesday evening, the moon's void of course from 7:28 p.m. till the end of the day, and then on Thursday morning until 5:55 a.m. Friday, it's not void of course during the day or at all. Saturday, it's void of course most of the day, so from 8:27 a.m. to 6:42 p.m. and then not on Sunday. So this week, actually, the moon is rarely void of course during business hours, so that's great because it's not stopping us from signing contracts or taking up the opportunity to do business with people. So just as a reminder, when the moon is void of course, it's never a good time to start new projects. Good to get on with business as usual, or to be investing in yourself and doing self-care. So the only times really are Monday afternoon And yeah, Monday afternoon from 2:44 p.m. to 6:07 p.m. because the rest of the time between 8 and 6, it's not void, of course, during the day. Okay, so the final thing I wanted to talk about was what the moon is doing this week. And I know so many of you really love working with the moon cycles, because when we are working with the moon, we connect in with our emotions. And so on Monday, the moon's still in Pisces. Pisces is always a beautiful energy for meditating, for imagining, for being really creative. The moon's been in Pisces all day today, being Sunday, and it was so glorious down at the beach, being by the water and just being really mindful and really present and just going slow. So Pisces energy is really much more about being slow and going with the flow and being creative. So that's on Monday. And then void, of course, in the afternoon, as I was saying. And then at 6:07, the moon's moving into Aries. So Aries always brings an opportunity for us to set goals and to really be quite driven to achieve those goals. So on after 6:07 on Monday night, then all day Tuesday, and then Wednesday, the moon is in Aries. So a lot of drive to get stuff done at the front end of the week. Really, really gearing up, taking action based on the planning that you were doing last week, based on what came through for you last week about what you want to achieve over the coming year and in the shorter term of the coming month. Then what we've got on Thursday, which is the key day that I was describing, that's quite volatile. The moon is going to be moving into Taurus at 5:55 a.m. Now, ordinarily, the moon in Taurus is really happy. It's really happy to take things at a pace that's one step at a time and methodically tick off your to-do list and to get things done. But considering we've got Mars in there connecting with Uranus, it's going to be feeling a lot less slow-paced and cruisy and sensual, much more, oh gosh, got to get things done, or things happening out of the blue that you have to deal with. So just really make note of that day and what sorts of activities come into your to-do list, or come into your frame, or come into your sphere on Thursday, because it's also going to be a bit of an indication of other themes, or the theme that comes up will be a bit of an indication as to what's going to be going on for you for the coming year ahead. So just interesting to note what goes on there. On Friday, the moon is going to be in Taurus still all day, and then on Saturday as well. And Saturday evening at 6:42, the moon moves into Gemini, which is an air sign, so it's all about communication and connection and networking. So on Sunday, it's a really lovely day for catching up with friends and also doing research and dealing with network, or connecting in with your network. And so I really do, it's a really lovely time for just thinking about who you can be working with or collaborating with to achieve your goals as well. Even though it's a weekend, it's going to be, you'll start to be thinking about putting your ideas down. So that's how the week's going to end. So a lot going on this week, a lot of prep from my end this week to make sure I've got the webinar all finished and nailed and get emails out to you before the webinar happens on the Sunday. And I really wish you all so well for the week ahead, and love to hear any feedback from you actually about how it goes and what goes on for you. So wishing you all the best, and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.